For me, becoming a police officer was just a natural progression. I had been serving my communities from age 16 up as a emergency medical technician and or a volunteer firefighter.
So I was working night shift. It was New Year's Eve into New Year's Day was my shift, and my shift was set to end at 8 a.m. So this call came out at around 6:30, 7 in the morning, and I was fueling up my patrol vehicle, and I was probably about 5 miles away from the call when it came out.
And while we were responding, we were advised that there were occupants trapped. As we were walking up to the residence, you could see smoke and fire showing from the second floor, one of the second floor bedrooms.
We both kind of entered the house at the same time, and the front door was already open. From what I recall, there was 2 front doors. We went into the open front door and encountered 4 residents from the house, and I believe 2 of them were elderly and one of them was in a wheelchair, and our main concern was just getting them outside. The elderly gentleman, I believe he was 89 years old, he initially didn't want to leave. He wanted to keep going back inside and grabbing things, but we really just needed to get him out of the house to safety so that our attention could be focused on helping the firefighters put the fire out. We knew we were dealing with an elderly resident as well as a handicapped resident in a wheelchair, and they appeared to be in a state of confusion as they hadn't already made efforts to exit the house. So when we asked them how many people were here, we weren't sure if we were getting the right number. So Officer Bezak did end up going back in after everybody had exited the house to check the basement, check the bedrooms that he was able to on the first floor, and try to take a look at the second floor.
Trying to get back up onto the second floor was almost impossible. I tried to get up in there and there was way too much smoke. The conditions were deteriorating quickly. It had banked all the way down to the floor at that point. My training and experience as a firefighter, I know that there's a certain amount of time that you have to get into a house and move around and do some work. And literally a minute or 2 after we were out of the house, the first floor bedroom that was on fire flashed over, which it became fully engulfed in flames.
As hard as it is to say, I think your own safety is the most important thing. You can't help anybody if you're not there. You need to make sure that you get out of that house safely as well, because the people that you've already assisted out of that house are going to need you as well.
It has strengthened my my faith in my fellow officers and their abilities to do what needs to be done. And there literally was very little verbal communication between any of us. We all kind of knew what needed to be done, and we all knew how to get the job done quickly. It's the calls that end successfully, where you actually help out residents and you get them into a safe place where, whether it be a structure fire or a victim of domestic violence, where you get them the help that they need and you get them to a safe environment. These kind of calls are the things that we work towards and we strive for.
I think it's great meeting people from all walks of life and being given the opportunity to help people.
Our motto is dedicated to service, committed to community. And all of our officers are dedicated to the community. We are committed 100% to doing what needs to be done to keep the community safe.